Hello, everyone, and welcome to this event for Here for the Drama with Kate Bromley and Lyssa K. Adams. We are so excited to share this book with you and hear from Kate and Lyssa, and we are also very excited that Kate stopped by today and signed some books. We're very relieved that they came in time. I hear that you ran into another author while you were there.
I did. I bumped into Casey McQuiston, and I had such a fangirl moment. Sorry, I'm echoing a bit.
Sorry, we're getting some feedback.
Yeah, I tried so hard to play it cool, and then I'm sorry. I recognized her right away, and then she walked past, and in my head, I was like, play it cool, just be cool. And then she went, and I'm like, Casey, oh my God, I can't believe it's you. And she was so sweet and so nice. So it was amazing.
Just a heads up that their pronouns are they, them, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. I just wanted to, just in case.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's totally fine.
They were amazing.
So does Casey live in that area?
Yes, Casey stops by as much as they can. We have so many copies of Red, White, and Royal Blue signed.
I'm sure.
I loved hearing that it was like a romance author little fusion.
Oh, that's amazing. I love that. That's so fun.
But anyway, I'm Laura. I'm the events coordinator for Astoria Bookshop. If you don't know who we are because you found us through the magic of the internet or you're a friend of one of the guests, we are a general interest bookstore in Queens, the best borough, in my opinion. Before we get started, I want to go through a few housekeeping things. You'll have the opportunity to ask questions throughout the whole stream. We will get to them around the last 10 to 15 minutes. You can press ask a question down there in the bottom right-ish. You can ask a question. You can upvote other people's questions if you see something you really want answered. You can do both. You can do neither. We're just happy you're here. And yeah, you can chat with each other on the right. Please keep it respectful. Don't say anything awful. I don't know why you would want to, but we try to not have that environment here because we're here to celebrate love in all its forms. And yeah, other than that, I'm going to add a little sign, a little button at the bottom in a second that says buy your signed copy here. And I will harass you into buying a signed copy if you haven't already. You should support local authors. You should support people in general, and books and romance, and give us
local bookstores. Support local bookstores. If you can buy it from your local indie, buy it from a local indie always.
Definitely.
Yeah. We don't like not to name names, but definitely don't get them from Schmamazon or anything. All right. Okay.
These guys.
You got some feedback going on?
Are you switching?
I keep getting an echo.
Yeah. Okay, I think we're good now. And
Hello?
I'm just gonna introduce these two lovely guests that we have, and then I will leave so you can actually hear about the book. Kate Bromley lives in New York City with her husband, son, and her somewhat excessive collection of romance novels. It's not hoarding if it's books, right? No, that's the answer. She was a preschool teacher for 7 years and is now focusing full-time on combining her two great passions, writing swoon-worthy love stories and making people laugh. She is the author of Talk Bookish to Me and Here for the Drama. Lyssa K. Adams read her first romance novel at way too young of an age when she swiped one from her grandmother's stash. After a long journalism career in which she had to write way too many sad endings, she decided to return to the stories that guaranteed a happy ever after. Her rom-com series, The Bromance Book Club, has been called the most refreshing, inventive concept in rom-coms by Entertainment Weekly and has been optioned by Netflix for a feature film. The fourth book in the series, Isn't It Bromantic, was released in July. Or I guess will be. Was that last July? Or
it was last July. Yep. The fifth one comes out in November. So,
yay! Okay. All right, and I will leave you both to it. Enjoy.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, I'm so okay. Well, first of all, we were just talking, about fangirling a little bit. I have to fangirl a little bit. I loved Talk Bookish to me. Loved it. Thought it was so cute. And such a great concept. And so I know that people are going to love Here for the Drama just as much. So
thank you
talk
so
a little.
much.
Yeah, no, you're welcome. I'm very honored to be here and help you celebrate the release of the book.
I'm so grateful to have you here.
Of course. What is it hot where you? Is it hot in New York like it is in Michigan?
Yes,
Because I'm dying.
It is definitely hot.
Oh my gosh!
I was just looking up at the fan, and I wish it was on right now.
Hey, fan noise is totally fine because it's. Oh my gosh, it's really really bad. Like I'm not a summer person. I'm the kind of person I'm a winter person. So
100%.
Not happy about this. Heat. But all right, so let's just talk. Let's start by talking about Here for the Drama.
Sure.
And a little bit about what you hope. What do you want readers to? Tell us obviously what the book is about for anyone who doesn't know. But I'm always interested to know what do you hope people will come away feeling, after they get a chance to read the story?
Yes. Well, just a quick little blurb. Here for the Drama is a lighthearted rom-com that's set in London. And it follows our aspiring playwright, Winnie, as she juggles her demanding boss, her own artistic ambitions, and a secret romance as she's trying to carve out her own place in the wonderfully chaotic theater world. And I guess what I hope people feel when they read it is that same sense of adventure and excitement, basically everything that Winnie's feeling as she goes through her story and her adventure in London. Because life is so stressful, and sometimes you just want like a light, fun read, and I'm hoping that that's what this book is.
Oh, well, that actually ties into something we talked about when we were talking, sort of planning for tonight, and that was that the pandemic has been a very stressful time, for everybody. For authors and as well, debuting a book during the pandemic has been extremely stressful. And yet we hear from readers so often that, oh my gosh, thank God for romance novels right now. Like that, romance novels have gotten us through this, that their happiness in book form, even the angsty ones, there's going to be happy ever after. So, you talk a little bit about that, about what it's been like, first of all, to, you debuted during the middle of this pandemic, your second book's coming out and we're still dealing with this, but we know people need the stories.
Yes.
So,
Well, I feel like I haven't really known any other way. So if anything, it's going to be strange when it goes back to normal, where we're in bookstores and in front of people. So, but I mean, writing has really been amazing because there's so much to stress about. You're worried about everything, but then for a few hours every day, it's just you and the story in your head, and that's all you're thinking about. And you can really just get lost in the world you've created, which is not as stressful as the one you're currently living in.
So true. So true. Yeah. It's a place, even for us authors. I mean, the writing process has been a saving grace, that we do have this happy place to go in our head, even when the book is fighting us, and even when, we're writing sort of a, angsty scene, it's, it has given us a nice respite, I suppose. Are you getting some feedback? Do you want to change? Is that what you're?
I keep trying to switch them, but I'm
Okay.
still hearing that.
Well,
Let me just try one more set.
Yeah, no, go for it. The joys of, virtual events.
It's so weird because it was working when we were in tech, and now it's echoing.
How's that working?
It's basically the same.
Oh, no, that's okay.
But
I wonder if maybe I need to take my headphones out or something.
You could try, and then I'll just go back to these and keep one in.
Let me try taking mine out real quick and see if that helps you.
Okay. Hello? I can't hear you, but I think I don't know. I think it might be a little better, but I'm not sure. There's kind of an echo. I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh. I think you're muted. Can you hear me? I can't hear you. Let me go back to these guys and see what happens. Hello.
Hello. I'm just jumping in to kind of see what's going on, make sure. Because everything sounds fine when... Oh, Lyssa, you're still muted.
Oh, no.
Well, we're getting the part of rom-com right now.
I know, right? Oh, my God. I can't hear Lyssa.
No, this happens like at least once a stream, which is...
Really?
Yeah, it's confusing that it's such a pervasive problem, but just to double check, no one has like double windows open or like the stream open anywhere else.
Oh, wait. Cancel.
Oh no. Oh no. We're in shambles. It's okay. It'll be... Kate should be back in a minute or so. Thank you, everyone, for being patient. I am... Oh, she's here. She's calling from beyond the void. Yes. Thank you, everyone, for being patient. It's just part of the virtual event bingo card at this point. Lyssa, we're still having trouble hearing you. It might be a matter of if you unplug and replug your headphones in. That sometimes works. Depends on where you're coming from. Yeah, it was working perfectly fine.
Hello?
Okay, hi.
Hi.
Let's see.
Hello?
Hi.
The echo is gone.
Okay, that's great. One problem down. I can tell that this is like talking out loud and getting us through the process, but I have no idea what she's saying.
Okay, she's gonna log out and come back.
Okay.
Oh, thank you so much to everyone who's waiting. I'm so sorry.
It happens.
Oh my goodness. Does it? I feel like I'm the only person this. I hope it's not just me.
Last event, we had the guests were talking for 10 minutes before we realized that no one was hearing a word of it.
Oh no.
It's frustrating. Yeah, it's what happens when you ask a lot of people with no professional live video production experience to suddenly have to do all of that.
Yes.
It was just a matter of the pandemic throwing us all online.
I was panicking. I was texting my husband like, I need new headphones. Bring me, please.
No,
SOS.
It always resolves itself after a few minutes of clicking things.
Oh, goodness. Hopefully she comes back soon. Oh, there she is. I can see you.
Oh, let me invite her back in. She sounds so distressed.
Oh, she's so nice.
All right. Yeah, we will be having in-store events soon again.
Can you guys hear me? Can you see me?
Yes.
Sorted.
All right.
Yes. Amazing.
Okay.
Sorry,
everybody.
Thank you so much. I'm so sorry, everybody.
No, you know what? I mean, we've done so many of these virtual events now, again, talking about the pandemic, that I feel like at this point, who knows what's going to happen?
I was panicking. I was like, I can do it with the echo, but I'm going to talk so slow and it's going to be so confusing. Oh, I'm so relieved. I'm so relieved you're here.
Right,
Thank you for coming back, for fighting your way back to us. Thank you so much.
Sorry, everybody who was waiting.
I'm so sorry, everybody. Oh my goodness.
Awesome.
Where'd we leave off? We were talking about the pandemic. Yeah.
What it was like to, debut and I mean, because I remember my second book in the bromance series came out on the worst possible day, March 10th, 2020, which was the day the entire world shut down. Like the NBA shut down that that was the day that they walked off the court, and
oh my goodness.
And I thought, well, there goes that book.
And then look, it's a hit. So it all worked out. Yeah.
But what I think that reassured me though, and I think you probably have found the same thing, is that people really do need these stories.
Yes, I know I did. I definitely did.
So again, talking about, you mentioned before, talking about what you hope people will feel when they read it, is that escapism, that talk 100%. To me a little bit more about how you tried to pour that into the book.
100%. Well, when I wrote this book, or when I sat down to write it, I remember asking myself, okay, what are the things that I love that I want to be in this world for the next year? Because when you think about it, between writing it, editing it, promoting it, it's about a year. Yes. So then when I thought about it, I said, okay, well, the theater. I mean, I couldn't do books again. Like, I just wrote a book about books. So then I did, okay, what else do I love? And it was the theater, London, and obviously like a romantic story. So those were the three things that for me were my forms of escapism. So that's kind of like all my three major elements that I was able to put into one story. And it really was a thing of writing what I wanted to read. This book is really just a comfort, like a personal comfort book for me. And I can only hope that translates.
Yeah. Oh, that is such a great way to think about it too, though, that listen, I got to spend a lot of time with these people that I'm creating and this book. It better be a world I want to live in.
Yes. And especially with the theater, living in New York, I really love musical theater. Yeah. So I have been to an obscene amount, of Broadway musicals, but I haven't been for 3 years. So this was kind of my way to sneak back into the theater world without, getting to physically do it.
Right. Exactly. I did want to ask you about that. Do you have a theater background? And if not, how did you research the world?
I don't know if I'd call it a background. Well, when I was younger, I did community theater when I was about 10. And then I did a few plays. And then in high school, I was involved in the plays, but it was never like anything big because I went to like one of the biggest schools in New York.
Oh,
so
wow.
Like star quality, performers went there. So, and that was not me. Like that was definitely not me. So like I would be like in the ensemble, or then I would do backstage work because I just wanted to be around it. Like I didn't care if I was in the show itself. I thought theater people were the funniest, like amazing people. Yeah. And then especially working backstage. And plus I was a little shy. So I just got to be around and listen. And I just I just remember laughing and thinking that it was so incredible. And I just have this kind of golden image of the theater and everything that it represents and how it made me feel, which was always just excitement and happiness. So all of that was what I tried to pour into the book.
Oh, I love that. and of course, Winnie, one of your your main character, she also is, wanting to break into theater. I mean, she's writing a screenplay. Did you pour some of that into her character as well? Just your memories of
I've never personally done playwriting. So I did have to kind of research that aspect. But again, like because I was so interested in it, research was a pleasure. It was a treat. It was like, oh, for like an hour today, I'm going to watch YouTube videos of, backstage work, and I'm going to listen to other playwrights and directors. And it felt like I was just doing what I would do anyway, like what I would enjoy doing anyways, but getting to call it work.
When really, right. Yeah, that's awesome.
When really it was just me watching these incredibly interesting, passionate people. And I just enjoyed every second. And it was just so much fun. That's why I love this book, even, so no matter what, I knew going in that whatever the critiques were, like as hard as it is not to take critiques to heart, I can honestly say that I love this book. So even if it ever did get, if it was received poorly, I know that I loved it. And it was just such a treat and a pleasure to write.
That is so important,
Yes.
for you to love the work, that it does matter. Because if you have any, any doubts about it or any insecurities about it, yeah, I mean, we
Well,
all
that's
get reviews that sting,
Mhm. But that's something you could probably relate to too. Like, you loved romance novels, and look what you've turned.
Yeah.
Was that the plan? Like, you went in knowing just that you loved romance novels, and
That was certainly part of it. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was just that I love romance novels, and I'm tired of how people diss on them sometimes. I'm tired of men thinking that this wasn't for them, and so yeah.
Mhm.
So certainly writing about something that I love, it
Mhm.
makes a huge difference for sure.
Mhm.
Research is a little bit easier too. I
Exactly.
haven't read them since I was way too young.
How old
Um,
were you when you started reading them?
Oh, I think I was in 8th grade, 7th or 8th grade, so young. I mean,
Mhm.
and my grandma's favorite author was Laverne Spencer, who retired, years ago, and I think recently passed away. I can't remember how long ago, but my grandma had a whole shelf of her books, and just beautifully written, and she wrote any subgenre of romance you can think of. I mean, she would write a contemporary one year, and then the next year she's putting out a historical, um and so I fell in love with them that way, and I've just always, always read them. I love them. I love the fact that, I know that things are going to work out in the end. I do love that. So
And you made it your job. You did
I
it.
for sure. So there were lots of things, of course, that we want to talk about today, but let's talk about Bridgerton, because we were talking about this before the event started, and
Yes.
we were having such a fun conversation. And I would love to see if anyone's here watching, pop into the chat here if you've seen the Bridgerton series, either season 1 or 2, or or have read the series. But you've watched both seasons multiple times. Yes.
Yeah.
What do you like about them? Because
I like I just I feel like I've read romance novels for so long. And now that Bridgerton happened, I can't believe that it didn't happen sooner, because talk about escapism. That's like the ultimate, let me sit down for 20 hours and get lost in this beautiful, lush, world. It was just so amazing. And we were talking about how we couldn't believe that it didn't happen sooner, because romance has been such a popular genre for so many years. I can't believe it didn't.
How did
And
they
now
not
I
know
want more. I want every historical romance series. I can't get enough.
I know. And there's so much about it that I love. How they brought it to the screen. I think what you talk about, the lush scenery and the costumes, and it's just beautifully, it's just a beautiful visual, first of all, but I remember watching it and thinking, and this ties into what we were talking about before about our love of romance novels, is I remember thinking, this is the first time I've ever really seen a romance novel brought to life on screen.
Yeah.
Lots of love stories get made, lots of rom-coms get made, but this was a true taking the cadence of a romance novel, the tropes, the female gaze that we often, that at least in the case of Julia Quinn, who's a, cishet woman. There were so many things where I was like, oh my gosh, they really stayed true, not just to the story, but the romance novel aspect of it, the pacing of it, and the tension.
And just to the scale that it was as our first big romance novel show, to that be the starting point.
Yes.
Are you kidding me? I will never forget the sparklers when they're doing the dance at the end of episode 1. I just watched it over and over because it was just the most beautiful shot that I've ever seen. And I just felt like we were given such a gift. I just remember thinking thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Shonda Rhimes. Thank you, Bridgerton, everyone involved in Bridgerton, because I felt so seen. And I felt like the show was just made for us, for romance lovers.
Yes.
And it was everything.
I really feel like they paid tribute to, diehard romance fans, that they didn't try to take away from any of the tropes and things that make us love romance. Now, season 2, of course, we were talking, I don't know, spoiler if anyone hasn't seen season 2 or hasn't read the books, does stray from the books, or the way the book for Anthony and Kate, proceeds. But I will say, and I know there was some criticism about that, they changed how their relationship plays out. But having, being sort of in the middle of having a book be adapted, to the screen right now. Of course, I really have no idea where it's at. They never tell you anything. I know they're casting, but that's been going on for several months. But, I've read the script, and I can really appreciate how hard it is to take a romance novel and stay true to those things and bring it to life on a screen, which is a completely different storytelling medium, So,
because so many things, like the little moments in books that we think are like the most important, can get cut, for the sake of time or for logistics or whatnot.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a big leap.
It is. It's definitely hard. So, and I feel like I'm totally springing this question on you because we didn't discuss it beforehand. But since we're talking about things being adapted, who would you pick to play Winnie and Liam if you had a chance? Have you thought about that at all?
This is always hard because when I write, they're kind of faceless. Like I don't really have. So then the people that I'm thinking more about their voice and less about what they look like. So like if I was casting voice wise, I could definitely see Anna Kendrick as Winnie. I could see Andrew Garfield as Liam.
Just because God, that would be the perfect pairing. Why has no one ever put them together in a rom-com before?
Maybe this will be it. Maybe this will be on their one, and they're both into theater. So good. They could both, if anyone has any connections or knows anybody who knows,
to see that happen.
Anna Kendrick, or it would just be amazing. So voice wise, that's kind of who I picture in my head. But again, does it translate for the descriptions that I gave? Not really.
Right.
Liam has red hair.
Right.
Winnie has like huge, curly hair. But banter wise, voice wise, that's who I can see.
I love that you articulate it that way because I struggle too. I don't really think about like specific actors' looks necessarily. I think that's a really good way, the way you articulated it. Because I get asked that question a lot too, and I'm always like, I don't know. For one thing, I'm older than the Netflix demographic by a little bit. And so most of the actors that like my daughter and her friends are like, oh, we hope so-and-so's in your movie. I'm like, who? Like, I don't, okay.
But can you tell us? No.
I have no idea who they're. No, that's not true. I've seen a list of possible actors. And the truth is, some of them I was like, who? But apparently they're very famous in the 17-year-old set. So
oh my gosh. I'm ready. Release the list.
Let's get the movie going, right? Okay, so I want to talk a little bit more about Here for the Drama, and we mentioned your theater background and how that played a role. But the other thing that you've done, both in this book and in Talk Bookish, is the idea of grand adventure, as sort of the catalyst for a character finding themselves or, making some changes that need to be made. And so I wonder, was that intentional? Did you know, both times that you were doing that intentionally, or do you just have a passion for grand adventures?
It wasn't always intentional. And I definitely did like to travel. I mean, I haven't gotten to do much, lately, but ever since I was little, I had this image of England in my mind. Like I wanted to go to England. I was obsessed with all things England always. And it was just always this dreamy, idyllic place in my mind. So I always knew that I wanted to go. And then as soon as I started working full time, when I got my first real job after I graduated grad school, I think I got hired in October, and by January I was in England. Like I used my first 2 paychecks to buy my ticket and to book my
amazing.
stay. And it was just everything that I ever imagined or dreamed of or hoped for. I loved it. So that I always knew London was somehow going to be in one of my books. But
Yeah.
I feel like when you travel, you've broken from your daily routine, and you're kind of just living for yourself as opposed to going to work or just going through your daily lives. So all these possibilities are suddenly open to you, and you're kind of just alone with yourself, even if you're traveling with people, because you're living life for yourself, maybe for the first time in a long time after doing the daily grind at work. So I feel like that wound up being a very interesting way for readers to see my character's growth and to explore that facet of themselves that, you know, the Winnie that they got to see and hear for the drama wouldn't have been the same if it was just in New York, you know, doing Juliette's bidding. She got to find herself, and the readers got to find, you know, discover that with her.
Yeah.
So I just think when you travel, you learn things about yourself. And I guess that I didn't realize I was constantly getting drawn to that in my writing, but I was.
I love that. Well, again, talk about writing what you love, right? You love England and travel, and so you got to live in that world a little bit.
Yeah.
You must have drawn from your own travels to England for this book.
Yes, I'm running out of places though. I've been to England and I've been to Rome, and like the first book, you know, in Talk Bookish, she goes to Italy. I'm gonna have to start traveling.
That sounds like perfect. I mean, reason to travel. You have to do the research. I mean,
is it a write-off?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You know what? Give it a try. If it's
research, the IRS thinks of that. Yeah, right, I'm sure they'll be into it.
Well, you'll have to pick another location soon.
Paris? What?
Yeah, right. What? I'm there for it. Yes,
I was there for a day, but I don't know if that's enough to write a book about.
Sure. We should go back. You should definitely go back in 2 months.
Fair enough.
Okay, so I love to ask authors as well, because I think that this, you know, is helpful to readers too. I just always am very interested that we talk about how we have to live with our characters for a long time, you know, when we're writing the book, promoting the book, and then they live on because people find the book 2 or 3 years later, you know. What do you admire about Winnie and Liam? Like, what are some of the characteristics of them that you think you admire about them?
Well, individually, with Winnie, she's, even with her self-doubt and her sometimes self-sabotaging nature, she's also very brave. You know, she knew from a young age that theater was what she wanted to go into, and she stuck with that in one way or another. You know, I always loved writing and things like that, but I went for teaching because I said to myself, no, I need a job. You know, I need to be able to get hired, you know, after college. And I wasn't willing to take the risk and, you know, go to grad school for writing or anything like that. But she did. And she stuck with it. And she ultimately got what she wanted. And Liam is, I just love him. He's my book boyfriend. He's just so supportive and kind, and I feel like through him, Winnie, for the first time, who was always a people pleaser and always felt like in her own way she kind of had to put on a show to get people to like her and to hang in there with her, and he was just, you know, for her from the beginning. And she didn't have to try, and she could just be herself. And what I admire about them as a couple is that even though they have this great tangible chemistry from the first time they even speak, which is on the phone, they also have this playful, fun energy, which was very different in Talk Bookish to me. Like they had chemistry, but they also had conflict. Right under the chemistry, there was angst and there was conflict. But with Winnie and Liam, it was just this fun, playful friendship. And that was really sweet. And I had so much fun exploring that.
You know, I think that kindness in a character is something we don't talk a lot about as writers, you know, but that sometimes I feel like kindness can be hard to write without it seeming forced, maybe.
Mhm.
That, you know, true kindness can be really difficult to write, but it's so rewarding to read, you know, that
Mhm.
I love moments in books when a character takes me by surprise, you know, when you think, oh, this is going to get ugly here in a second, someone's going to say something hurtful, and then
Mhm.
they turn right around and they do something really, really kind. That to
Mhm.
me just gets me every time. So I love to hear that you've written this really kind because I you know, I kindness is underrated, I feel like, is
Mhm.
a character trait for our characters, you
No,
know.
I agree, and it could go other ways, like, if you make them too good, too
Yeah.
perfect, then you're like, "Come on." But I feel
Right.
like Winnie and Liam, they both do a nice balance of, like, they want the best for each other, but they also want the best for themselves, and
Yeah.
they're willing to kind of better themselves so that way eventually, you know, they
Yeah.
can be at the point that they both need to be at to, you know, for the long haul.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I love that. Well, hopefully readers will, you know, those who are listening will clue in on that and pick up on those parts where, you know, where we see that happening. To me, that's such a rewarding part of reading a romance is when you realize they're both doing work on themselves, you
Mhm.
know, to get that, to earn that happy ever after.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more.
Um, so I want to make sure I'm not there was a couple of questions I had prepared. Oh, well, I didn't do the other half of that question. Was there any time you wanted to smack either one of them?
I don't know because it's hard, but I would think people would maybe want to smack Winnie because she's a bit of a pushover. You know, she has so much love and
Mhm.
loyalty to her boss, but she doesn't see it because she's so connected to her.
Right.
And I honestly didn't even realize how much Juliette was in the book until like it was over. Because so often when you write books, it's like, okay, they have their
Mhm.
romantic drama. Like sometimes they had friend drama going on, sometimes they had
Right.
family and work. But then I realized, wait, Juliet encompasses every one of those categories for her. So she's in it
Yeah.
so much because like she is her family drama, she is her work drama, and she is her friend drama.
Yeah.
So she plays this huge, you know, this huge part in Winnie's life.
Mhm.
So when people would think, "Oh, you're such a pushover," like, but Winnie can't do that. A, because she loves her and she's just super loyal to her, but also because
Right.
she's such a huge part of
Mhm.
her world, you know, her everything. So I definitely understand when people want to smack her because just stand up to her, you know. But for Winnie, it's not that easy. A,
Right.
because she never has really stood up to her before. And then partly
Mhm.
because she doesn't want to, because she loves her so much and she's afraid that she's going to lose her.
You know, I think a lot of people are gonna be able to relate to that because
Yeah.
don't you think we all have someone in our lives like that
Hmm.
we, you know, we have maybe you know, a loving but also complicated relationship with that
Hmm.
does make it kind of hard sometimes to
Hmm.
have tough
Yeah. Well,
conversations
I'm
or
definitely a pushover. So I mean, like I related. And maybe that's like something that like I'm trying to tell myself, you know, that maybe sometimes you have to, you
yeah,
know,
it's so
stand up
hard
for yourself
though.
a bit. But when you love someone, you know,
Yeah.
she just wants the best for Juliet. And then ultimately,
Mhm.
Juliet realizes that she needs to think about what's best for Winnie as
Yeah.
well.
Well, she sounds like a great secondary character. I love a book with a very strong secondary cast, you know, that sort of,
Hmm.
you know, plays a key role in what's happening. So I can't wait to read, you know, maybe she needs her own book.
Oh my gosh. Don't tempt me. I might. I might. And I loved her too, because again, like with the people in my head, I always kind of heard like Diane
Oh
Keaton-ish
my
for
gosh.
her in
Yes.
my head, who I love.
Oh,
Like I just
yeah.
pick all my favorite people and everything. So I mean, maybe that's another reason that I'm kind of easy on her too, because I picture her as this like fun, quirky
Yeah.
character. So
Oh, I
I'm
love it.
easier on her than maybe I should be.
Nah, you know your characters. All right, so we've got a fun comment here. Tammy's is said she cannot wait to read your book on the way to London in a week. So that's
Aw,
exciting. Have fun in London. That'll be cool.
yes.
Wow.
I hope this is a good travel book. Like I tried to picture it as like a good travel book, a good
Yeah.
beach book, just a nice way to unwind and kill a few hours. I feel like, I don't know if my books go quicker because my books are very dialogue heavy. Dialogue has always been my favorite part of writing, and then the books that I would read. So I feel like this book goes pretty quick because it's very dialogue.
Yeah.
Centered.
I love that about your writing though. I mean, like I love a witty dialogue that's fast paced, but yet also you convey a lot through the dialogue. It's not, there's nothing space filler about your dialogue. It's very like everything they say is important, but you write dialogue in a way that's very, well, as I say, the easier it is to read, the harder it was to write. So
no, you're telling me. Well, and also too, really in my first drafts, it's just dialogue. Like I just sit there. Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so glad it's not just me.
Oh yeah, no. My first drafts are nothing but them talking to each other, basically.
Right? Because that defines the relationship, their conversations and their talking. That's what sets the tone and steers the ship, kind of.
Well, it's how you get to know the character as well as a writer, is through what they're saying to each other. I mean, that's totally how that's
a great way of putting it. Definitely. I agree.
Let them talk. Put them on the page and let them go.
Yes, absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
All right. Krista says she's taking it on a cruise in a few weeks. She's might have to wait. That she doesn't know she can wait that long to read it. So Krista will have to report back in if she waited that long for the cruise too.
You can read it twice. It's okay. I've read it like 900 times. That's another reason you really have to love the subject matter, because you are going to read it 9 billion times. Do you ever get sick of it?
Oh gosh, yeah. I've got past pages that are due this week for my next one, and I'm like, really? How am I still reading this book? So yeah, but yet there are still times when someone will say something about something that appeared in the book, and I'm like, did I write that? And I'll go look. Oh, I guess I did. Like, how is it possible to forget something, from a book that I wrote and have read?
Do you find you have to like take time away sometimes? Like, I cannot look at you for another week and then I'll come back.
Oh gosh, yes. Yeah.
It's like a roommate. It's like a roommate that's with you all the time, but sometimes you just need to like go for a walk and
you need to go spend the night somewhere else. Yeah. Oh gosh, yeah, that is such a good way.
You need to miss it a little bit. You need to miss it a little bit.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you about writing what you love. Did you always want to write a holiday book? Because I cannot wait. I cannot wait.
Yeah, I've always wanted to write
a very merry bromance.
Very merry bromance is the next one. Yeah, it comes out November 1st. And I sort of describe it as the bromance book club meets A Christmas Carol. I'm obsessed.
Yes.
I'm obsessed with A Christmas Carol. I've read it, multiple times. I've seen every version of it ever made. And, I just have this you've seen those memes, like, what could you get up and talk about for 30 minutes straight with no preparation? Like, I could talk about A Christmas Carol. Okay. Like, let's go. So, the metaphors in it. And anyway, so it was so fun. And yes, I always did want to write a holiday book, and it was a great time. So
the cover is dreamy to the millionth degree. Oh my gosh.
I loved it.
I cannot wait to get my hands on it.
Yeah, I'm so very excited. It feels very far away, yet not very far away that it comes out. So yeah.
Maybe someday I'll write a holiday book, but I can't imagine.
They're so fun to write.
Did you listen to Christmas music?
I did.
Yeah.
And that when you're not when it's not Christmas season, that is very strange. But yes, I did. And I was watching like A Christmas Carol, and not
for
Christmas
research.
Time, and and so that is kind of strange. And here we're starting to ramp up for promotion for it. And it's 90 degrees outside, and I've got all these Christmas themed things in my inbox, and it's so
oh my gosh. But that's fine. I put up my tree like the day after Halloween. So the earlier the better.
Oh yeah. To me, it's like one long holiday season. Like I'm not overlooking Thanksgiving. It's one part of one big season for me.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I'm so excited for it.
Oh, you're very sweet. Thank you. Okay. So we do looks like we've got 3 questions let's see here. Do you want me to read these off, or how should we do these questions?
It is fully up to you.
Okay.
Do you have a preference?
What's that?
Do you have a preference?
I can run through these for sure. That sounds fine to me, if that's good.
Actually, you know what? I will ask them because sometimes they apply to both of you, and it would be nice
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's perfect. All right, sounds good.
just about being an author in general.
Perfect. Okay.
All right, let's see. Kate, do you have any ideas or plans for a third book? Anything you can share with us? That is from Nikki H. Rose.
All right. I'm in edits for the third book, and it's another rom-com, and it's in Italy.
Is it?
Yes.
See, travel again.
I know, I have to. The well is running dry. I have to go somewhere. But I'm very excited about it, and I can't wait to reveal more.
Do you have a release date yet?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
I love that. I cannot wait in all caps.
She's
energy
the
we
best.
want
Thank
here.
you, Nikki.
If you could travel anywhere in the world, where would you go? This is from Regina. And Lyssa, if you would like to chime in, we'd love to hear that.
Mhm.
Sure. So this is going to sound really weird, probably to most people, but I really, really want to do a National Geographic tour of the Antarctic.
Yes.
Sounds wildly dangerous.
Well, yeah, I like winter, so I do not want to. Don't send me anywhere tropical, please. I will be so whiny the whole time. Yeah, I want to go see the penguins. I want to do the whole National Geographic thing. Yeah, that's me.
Do they do that? They have those?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, my aunt and uncle did it. They do it. I don't know if they do it every year, but National Geographic does it every couple of years. They've got a special ship, and you have to do all this training beforehand, and yeah, it's crazy.
That does sound good though. I'm the same with heat. Even when I shower and then I blow dry my hair, I'm like, what is the point?
Oh,
I'm
no.
sweaty all over again.
I gotta have a fan blowing on me the whole time. Yeah.
I'm from Miami, and there's a reason I moved here.
Oh my goodness.
I love. Well, I guess now we have to do an Antarctic romance story.
Yeah, we do. I'm gonna have to that's.
It's they're freezing cold, but it's heating up.
Oh, there's your tagline. Oh my god. This is amazing.
What about you, Kate? Is there a place that's still on your bucket list that has not? I mean, you probably go.
It's not abroad, but I've always wanted to see the Grand Canyon. I've never been there, and it's just somewhere I've always wanted to go and to see, because I'm so boring. I would go back to the same places over and over again. I will go back to England probably again. If I go, I'll go there again.
Oh yeah, I've been to Yellowstone 4 times. It's my happy place.
I've never been to anywhere like that.
Yeah.
So I've never seen a mountain range. I'm from Queens, so I haven't really seen anything like that, and I would love to see mountain.
I love it.
If you want to be completely alone, go to Montana. It is wonderful.
Really?
There's nobody
for miles.
That sounds
it's almost
amazing.
freaky if it's some depending on what time of day you're driving through, you're kind of wow, there's truly nobody here.
The population is 30, and then just deer. It's incredible.
Yes.
It's jarring when you hear silence like that. When we went to Italy and we were in Tuscany and we were at a vineyard, and I was like, it's so quiet. It was oddly quiet. I've never heard quiet like that. There's always sirens or noise all the time. It was almost like you could
I've ever
feel
heard.
it. It felt like you could feel the silence and pick it up. It felt so odd.
Tangible.
It felt so strange.
Another place like that is Isle Royale National Park. It's here in Michigan. It's in Lake Superior. It's actually closer to Canada. We got it in a strange deal with Britain after the War of 1812. Anyway, it's very strange, but it belongs to Michigan now. And it is the quietest place I've ever been. It's the least visited of all the national parks. And I woke up one night. There's one lodge there. And I stayed there because I don't camp. I've been married 21 years, and I think it's because we have a shared disdain for camping. That's the thing that has kept us alive. So I stayed in the lodge, and I woke up to this weird scratching noise. I'm like, what is that? expecting to find a raccoon or something. It was a carpenter ant. That's how quiet that place is. Like that a carpenter ant, like scratching at wood, woke me up.
God.
It's amazing if you just want to like never see another human being.
It sounds amazing, but I could never drive like that. If at night, I like just thinking about it when you said there's no one around for miles, like not having street lights. Like I feel like it doesn't truly get dark around here.
Completely, pitch black. There's no.
I would not be all right. I would
It's
not
like,
be okay. I can barely drive in the rain, let alone.
It's a 4-hour ferry ride across Lake Superior to get there. So like it's truly like remote.
Whoa.
So anyway, put that on your bucket list.
All right.
Silent, remote, very places.
Emily McCann asks, what would you write if you had to write something other than romance? And again, you can both answer this.
Okay, you start.
Oh my gosh.
I'm throwing that one your way.
No, you know what? No, I'd write screenplays because it's the way that you can still do dialogue and it can still be about romance. So I'm cheating the system.
No,
kind of. That doesn't count. No. Oh, I don't know then. I really don't know. I'm blanking.
Like,
Lyssa,
I don't
what would
want
you
to
do?
think about it.
I don't know that I'm capable. What can I do?
There are other genres. I don't.
Right.
Are
Is
there?
there anything else? What are you talking about?
No.
I would enjoy writing thrillers. I would like, someone's chasing you kind of thrillers. Like I could do that, I think. But at some point a romance would seep in. I don't know how I could like not, I don't know.
I imagine there's a lot of overlap in tension. They both are about build up and tension. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, got it. Oh, and I have something. I would write children's books because I was a preschool teacher for 7 years. So I would put that to use, and I'd write some children's books.
That's sort of working in the Astoria Bookshop. For anyone who has stopped by, I imagine many of you have. You know that we have the adorable children's section in the back, and when it's slow, some of us just go in the back and read picture books.
That's perfect.
And if you catch me at the right time, you will find me in the back crying over like a 20-page picture book because they're so sweet.
They are.
I love it.
They're so good. Yeah. And I was in the children's section today. I was getting stuff from my sons, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
It was perfect.
Okay. Tammy asks, what do you need in your writing space to help you stay focused?
Not YouTube. I would. It's so hard to just sit down and write because you could just so easily like click away, and I can watch Bridgerton clips, or things like that. So really, it's just like, can I say like a focused mind because I'm so easily distractible. Yeah. I mean, the table I write at is a disaster. So I mean, it's not like a clean space, that's for sure. Like coffee. I'll say coffee.
Coffee.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. The
Coffee
digital space matters. Yeah, that's true too. I would say the same thing. Like I'm a very odd writer that I need chaos going on around me. Like I need the TV on, and I also need to be listening to headphones, and like I don't know why that's how I zero in on what I'm focusing on, but I have to turn off my internet. Like I've got the Freedom app. Do you ever use that? It's,
I'm gonna have to. I looked into it. Yeah.
And yes. I mean, even I've used it for over a year, and still there are times when I'll find myself drifting over to like, oh, maybe I'll just check Twitter for a second. And then you get the big green screen that's like, no, you're free. I'm like, oh my gosh,
I need it badly. Can you listen to music with words? I can only listen to instrumental if I'm writing. If I hear words, I can't do it.
The only time I can listen to music with words is for very specific scenes that I'm struggling with. Like if I can't get like the tone of a scene correctly, sometimes I'll go listen to a song, but I don't get a ton of actual writing done when the song is going. It's more like just to sort of get me in the headspace. Yeah, I'm with you. I'll just start listening to the music, like singing along,
I almost exclusively write at 2 a.m. I don't know if you're both similar in like wacky schedules. which sucks because I have a normal schedule, like working schedule.
Oh my
Oh
goodness.
man, yeah. No,
How
I
do
would
you do it?
be dead at 2 a.m. You know.
It's the only time I feel like I can do it. I don't know. I'm
Well,
too
it
tired
works.
to be critical, maybe. I don't know.
Well, there could be something to that. Your brain's like, all I can do is write. I can't think about, no internal editor allowed right now. Yeah.
All right.
What
and
time do you
another-
normally write, Kate? Just out of curiosity.
The morning. It has to be the morning. Otherwise, if I do it at night, my brain is just awake and I will not fall asleep.
Yeah.
So I really only get to write like during nap times, like when my kids are taking a nap.
Right.
So at least it adds like a sense of urgency where it's like,
Yeah.
I get an hour and 15 minutes and that's it. So I better make it count.
Yep.
So whenever I can, really.
Yeah. I'm most creative in the morning too. So
That's interesting. The nap thing. Maybe that's also why I write at 2 a.m. because that's when my boyfriend is sleeping.
There you go.
His nap.
I'm telling you, there's something to it. That's the truth.
Same.
All right. And Nikki has one more question. Do you have any advice to new/unpublished writers? Either of you, once again. A lot of these are just general writing questions, which is fun.
Sure. For me, the biggest thing is just to know that it's very possible. Because I feel like I went through life thinking, wouldn't that be great? But it's not for me. Like, no way. I could never do it. And it wasn't until I got older and like I researched the process and saw because you won't give yourself the time to write because you think, why would I? Like, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
But just know that it's a very attainable goal and it's worthy of your time. So write that book.
I love that. That's brilliant advice. And it's funny because I would totally ditto on that like, I do think on the one hand, yes, it's very hard and you do have to put in the time to perfect your craft and, learn the business. But I really believe that there's only one thing that separates a published author from an unpublished author. And usually it's persistence. How long are you willing to stick with it? And sometimes people break in really quickly and sometimes it's 10 years before they get a nibble on a query. And, but the people who stick with it, the odds are usually in your favor if you just keep at it. The way I think about it is you've got to put new books on those shelves all the time. And editors, they rise through the ranks by bringing on new people on their lists. Agents are always, they rise by adding new people. Why not you? So
100%. I could agree more.
All right. And with that, we have answered our questions. Thank you so much, everyone, for stopping by and not just listening to the wonderful conversation, but contributing to it. I have just added the button here at the bottom that says get your signed copy of Here for the Drama, which you should do. You deserve it.
Thank you. Yes.
Give yourself that
this
gift.
Amazing bookshop. So wonderful.
Any last words? That sounds so weird.
Just thank you so much, everyone who came in and listened, and to the wonderful Astoria Bookshop. Thank you so much for having us. It was amazing.
And congratulations, Kate. It's so exciting to have
Thank you.
Next one out. So
thank you so much. And I can't wait till Very Merry Bromance.
Have a good night, everyone.
Thanks.
Thank you.
See everybody.